In this tutorial, we're going to look at how to add VSTs, which normally come in the form of instruments or audio plugins, into your installation of Ableton Live. In this tutorial, we're also going to look at how to add both VST2s as well as VST3s, and I'm also going to show you how to update your VST list so that if you're adding VSTs while you have Ableton open, you'll be able to see your recently added VSTs in real time. And I'm also going to show you how to organize your VSTs into a manageable folder structure. So let's jump in. Now, once you have Ableton Live open on your computer, you'll see this category for plugins over in the left sidebar. Now, if you select that, you'll see a new panel where your VSTs will show up. I have my VSTs organized into two folders, a folder for my VST2s and a folder for my VST3s. So let's begin by talking about folder structure and where to put your VSTs once you've downloaded them. Now, I'm using Windows, so I'll click on Options and then Preferences. However, if you're on a Mac, you'll need to click on Live or the Live icon you see in the top bar, and then click on Preferences. Now from this pop-up, we'll click on the Plugins tab. Now ensure that you have Use VST2 Plugin Custom Folder as well as Use VST3 Plugin Custom Folder selected. Now on your hard drive, you have to have these folders created. So begin by creating these folders in the location where you want to store your VSTs, and ensure the folder for your VST2s is different from the folder for your VST3s. For example, here is the folder containing my VST2s. Now notice that the VST file format ends in .dll. For example, I have this Neo Moon plugin and it ends in .dll. Your VST3 plugin file will be similar. The main difference is that the file extension for VST3s is .vst3. Here, for example, you'll see that I have another Neo Moon plugin, and you can see that it's a VST plugin by its file extension. Now, as a bit of a side note here, Neo Moon offers two courses for creatives who want to learn how to develop and design their own VSTs without having to code. You'll learn how to create your own instruments and audio plugins, which you can then use within Ableton as a standalone plugin, or you can sell these plugins to your audience. I'll link to Neo Moon's VST no-code development course as well as the VST design course in the description below. Okay, so let's jump back in. So now that we know where to store our files, we now need to tell Ableton where those folders are. So back in our preferences window, you'll notice that you have these buttons for browse, and this allows you to tell Ableton the location of the VST2 as well as the VST3 folders that you just created. So if the location that you see here doesn't match the folder location that you just created, just be sure to click this button and remap the folder to the proper location here. Now, once you have that done, you can click on this rescan button here. Now, depending on the size of your VST library, this could take up to a few minutes, but once this is all done, you'll be able to re-click on plugins over in the left sidebar here, and your newly added VST plugins should now show up in the panel, which you see here. Now, if you need VST2 or VST3 plugins to use as testing plugins, we have two such VSTs available for free over on Neo Moon. I'll provide a link to them below. But what they will allow you to do is to download the plugins and then add them to your folders for testing purposes. This will allow you to test if both your VST2s as well as your VST3s are structured and functioning properly. Again, back in Ableton, you'll now be able to see your VSTs here. If I expand my VST2 plugin folder, I'll be able to see the individual DLL files here. Or if I've added subfolders to this folder, I'll be able to see my subfolders as well. And this folder structure will be mirrored over in Ableton. So creating subfolders is a great way to ensure that you stay organized. You can also take this organization a step further by color coding your VSTs. So for example, if I was to right click on this audio plugin here, you'll see that I can color code it. Now I personally use this to color code VSTs to categorize them based on what they do. For example, orange could be used to represent mixing plugins, yellow could be used to represent pads, and green could be used to represent your drums, for example. Now, to add a VST into Ableton so it's usable, all you need to do is drag and drop it onto your canvas here. So I'll go to my VST plugin folder, and then I'll add this Neo Moon testing plugin here. Again, a link to this free plugin can be found below. Now, once it's added, I'll be able to control this VST using my MIDI controller, or in the case that you don't have a MIDI controller, you can just use this digital keyboard for this specific plugin down here. So that's how you add VST plugins to Ableton Live. If you found value in this tutorial, please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. And remember, if you want to learn how to create your own VST plugins, head over to NeoMoon and check out the courses that we have available. One of our courses will walk you through the entire process of developing a VST from start to finish without having to code. This would allow you to create virtual instruments, audio plugins, and sample libraries. The other course we have available will teach you how to design VST plugins. You'll learn how to create the control components such as the knobs, the sliders, the buttons, and the textured surfaces, to name only a few examples. So if you'd like to learn how to develop your own VSTs without code, head over to NeoMoon today. Thanks for stopping by today.